Hey, you are tuned in to Two Gems and a Mic with hosts Tinesha the Diva Mahomes and Linda L.D. Dorsey. Just know, if we talking about it, you need to hear about it. Unwind and enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Two Gems and a Mic. I'm your host, Linda L.D. Dorsey, along with my girl, Tinesha, the Diva Mahomes.
Hey, Linda.
What's going on?
Oh, no. You know I'm happy. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about your Yankees. Yeah, I'm happy. But let's jump on in as usual.
Let's bring our boy in. Come on in here, Darren.
Come on in, Darren.
Let me in now. Let me in now.
I know that's right.
Yeah, we got Darren Smith with us again. So, Darren pops in on us every other week when his schedule allows. So we appreciate you joining. So today we're going to cover the World Series, who made it, who didn't, Week 7 recap, Week 8 predictions, and we're going to close with some hot sports news. All right, let's go ahead. Tanisha, you want to go ahead and
yeah.
give me the business? Go ahead.
Of course, I would like to. Obviously, Philly beat the Padres 4-1. And pull out your brooms. Pull out your brooms because them Astros done swept them Yankees.
They did. I was very disappointed.
Really?
I was.
I know you were, and I'm happy.
I was very disappointed.
I'm real happy. I'm just real happy because you.
I know because you still. That's some hate. No, I ain't go all there. I said I hope we play well because I know how we get in the playoffs. But that's all right.
Tanisha relishes in your misery. It seems.
She does. So much so that she had some hate carrying over last week.
That's right. I'm back now. I'm back.
Okay,
you know
what I'm saying? This week.
Yeah, I'm focused. The hate is gone. You know what I mean? It looked bad on me. That's what I heard. I heard it was horrible.
It looked funny on you.
But I said, you done took me to a whole nother hate level. It says pitiful. Made me get memory loss. I was hating so hard. Nah. But yeah, that was awesome though. Yeah, you got me. You got me last week.
Game 1 is on Friday, and who y'all picking?
Well, I'll go first. I'm going with the Houston Astros to win. I don't really care if it's in 4 games or 7. As long as Dusty Baker gets that first World Series ring, that's the only thing that matters to me.
My sentiments exactly.
You have spoken for the group. I think we are all there. Everybody. Let's get that ring.
Because as much as it pains me to say I want the Astros to win after they swept my Yankees, I do want Dusty to get that. I think I'm hoping it's a good series. Philly's been looking good, so I'm hoping it's a good series. Like you said, Darren, 4 games, 7 games, doesn't matter.
And quickly on this, the interesting thing about how this playoff series has turned out, it seems like outside of Houston, all these teams that had the big records, and I was talking to Pat about it last week while we were in San Francisco. The fact that the Mets, obviously the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Braves, all these teams with 95, 98, 100 wins, lost in the manner in which they did, man, and then for Philly and Houston to be the last 2 teams standing, to be able to get through the group or these core groups that these teams have made it this far. Pretty good. So I'm a shout out to both teams playing well, playing above and beyond, because you got to be a hell of a squad to be able to sweep the Yankees and to get the Braves out in 5 games. Oh, I'm sorry, the Padres out in 5 games.
Yeah.
About it, because you're talking about that level of play. I mean, at any time, I don't care what you did, and everybody knows once the season is over and that postseason hit and everything, anything can happen. You're playing professional athletes.
And I will say, not because we normally don't do excuses, but when it comes to the Yankees, they were a little bit behind the 8 ball because of the weather. That they had pushbacks, delays, and then they had a game that was pushed back a day. And then even though they beat the Cleveland Indians, they beat them late in the evening, and then they had to turn around and fly out and play the very next day.
That's fair.
That's fair. But that don't give a reason to get swept. I would say the first game, even maybe 2, but you go back home and you don't even get a game. So the bats were hot and the Astros are hot. It's gonna be hard for somebody to beat them. And you had some players on the Astros, star players that weren't even performing as well that came on and did things when they needed to do it. So hats off to both teams. Making it to the World Series, that's no easy feat. So
Go
congratulations
Dusty.
to both. Yep. Yep. All right, so we're gonna
Yeah.
jump into some NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about some of these games that happened week 7. We're gonna start off with the Bengals and the Falcons. Y'all think the Bengals are back? You think they for real?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they back.
I think they're for real. I mean, obviously, the biggest thing for them is that offensively, uh, Joe Burrow has all of his wide receivers now, and I think Joe Mixon is healthy as well. So that gives them enough firepower to go have a shootout with anyone. And this is the one team we talked about in our post game show Monday night at the Red Hour is that. When I look at the schedule, second half of the schedule, I think it's much easier than this first half for the Chiefs. But the one game that sticks out to me is Cincinnati. I said because that's the one team that Patrick hasn't defeated yet. Well, technically to an extent, I guess the Rams because he's only played them once. But but for me, it's a Cincinnati game because of what they did last year to the Chiefs.
Yeah, they look
Oh,
good. They look like they were
real
really
good to me.
clicking. Yeah.
I saw a snapshot today of his receivers yardage, and I think Chase was like 600,
Oh,
and both of the other one, Boyd and Higgins,
Higgins,
both had over
yeah,
400, over 450 yards, and I was like, that's a beautiful photo.
Oh yeah, he was throwing the long ball. He was hitting them.
Oh
They were
yeah,
running. He did some running. So it was they look good. I mean, granted, the Falcons. You don't know which team is going to show up, but we'll see how that
yeah,
plays
because
out
you
when
don't
we have them
know
coming.
you don't know if
yeah.
it was going to be the team that beat 2 weeks ago, by 2 touchdowns San Francisco, or the one that you saw the
Don't
Bengals
know.
were
Right.
he
Any
threw
given
for
Who
almost
Sunday,
who?
baby.
500 yards. Yep.
Yep.
Any
All
given
right.
Sunday.
Let's talk about them Cowboys. And I call them Cowboys. I didn't call them
Thank you.
Cowgirls. Cowboys versus the Lions. Brought this game up really because Dak was back. So what y'all think he
Hmm.
looked like?
I wasn't really impressed. I mean, I don't know how you all feel about it, but I think you could have, because to me it was more of a defensive standout again. I mean,
Yeah.
the defense had 5 sacks and 5 turnovers, and considering the production that Dak really did, I mean, basically Ezekiel Elliott had 2 touchdowns, and Dak had a 2 yard touchdown pass late in the ball game. I mean, everything that Dak did, Cooper Rush probably could have done, and nobody would have batted an eye
Don't
with Dak not playing.
No, ma'am. No, we're not doing that.
Hold on,
Don't you
no
dare
ma'am,
bring up. No,
no
no,
ma'am.
both of you. No, sir. Do
I
Oh,
ain't
not
say
bring up
nothing yet.
Cooper. Do not bring Cooper up again. Don't
Okay,
do it.
yeah. Look, you getting ready to start going down that rabbit
Don't.
hole.
No,
What do
I'm
you think
not.
of the game? What do you think of the
I thought
game?
he did enough. He coming back. He's gonna have to knock a little rust off. I think that was a little rust knocked off game, and we
Okay.
gonna get it's gonna get better and better. And we're about to go, but I don't want to hear about no Cooper now.
Okay. All right.
Moving on. Moving
We
on.
talking
I don't want
about,
to hear
but
another Cooper
no,
talk.
my other comment on that was the defense. The defense really set him up in that game. That defense was
Absolutely.
really clicking. So I'm with you, Darren. I still want to see what Dak got up against some competition if he's back, if he's healthy, if the rust is off or whatever. Like I said, Tanisha thinks I'm a Dak hater. I'm not a Dak hater. I'm a
No,
Cowboys
I do
hater.
not. I do not
well,
think you're a
all I'm
Dak
gonna say
hater.
is this. All I'm gonna say is this.
No, I do
Let's
not.
see, because we saw how well that Chicago Bears team played running the football and defensively Monday night against the Patriots. Let's see how Dak, plays this Sunday, and then we'll get a chance to see for ourselves if he's really back healthy and up to snuff.
Yep.
You
Yep.
you did
All
see
right.
Zappy throwing balls right to him, didn't you? You were there. You were
Yeah, I
watching.
think that yeah, he's gonna have
I mean, he
issues.
was 19 to
He-
25, 207. That didn't really, bring the ounce down.
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I'm
All
just
right.
we'll
saying.
see. We'll see what the defense does. All right, the Commanders versus the Packers. I mean,
I was pissed between the Packers and the team we're gonna talk about next, the Bucks. Just blew up my parlay. Like
there you go. There you
when
go with your
Aaron,
parlay.
no, it don't matter. I mean, all I hit every game Sunday, but the two that blew it was the two quarterbacks that you didn't expect. Look, the Packers were a 7 point favorite over the Commanders and lost by 3 or 4. Come on now, no, ugh. It just
I'm just talking about the team overall. The
oh no
Packers are
no
just
no well no
the
no no
Packers.
Horrible.
overall
Terrible.
the Packers got some issues, and Aaron
Terrible.
Rodgers.
We're gonna talk about
Dude,
that a little bit later on the show. Them comments and stuff that Aaron
I wasn't
Rodgers
hear about the
went, but the
comments. I'm just
Packers.
saying. I'm just saying. Just in that game, we was kind of cursing at the receiver, like, "What the f are you doing?" Hey, bro, we throwing hands in the locker room. That's just
Well, it's even
that's
more. He went on Pat McAfee show and had some comments. But the
did the
Commanders, I
fool.
think are better in better hands with Tyler Heineke than they were with Carson Wentz. I had no
Taylor.
confidence in him.
yeah.
Excuse me, Taylor. Did I say Tyler?
It's all
Taylor
right.
Heineke. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think I think he brings something to that team that used to playing with them from last year. He
He's
brings a
more
spark. He
mobile.
came
I
out and he
think I
looked
think he's
good.
a lot more mobile than
Yeah.
than Carson. Plus, his confidence. I mean, Carson's confidence is just shaking. It just seems like
Man.
wherever he goes, if he's not playing well, even the game against I think it was against the Bears or somebody, where he was, he was trying to bring the team back to victory, which I guess they did
Dude,
win that game. He
Carson
just
been through a lot, guys. I mean, he been through a lot. He
at
thought
least
he
he
was
got a
the
Super
man
Bowl
in
ring.
Philly. I know he thought, yeah, he yeah, he ain't threw a pass, but yeah, he thought,
Facts.
you know, he thought he was the man in Philly. He got, and then
He thought he
Nick
was a
comes
man in
in,
Indy.
and then they gave him 1 year in Indy, which that even surprised me. I was like, dog, y'all ain't even gonna let the man get his feet wet. And then you put Matt Ryan. It's not like you upgraded. I mean, Matt Ryan hadn't been doing
Well,
that
he's
great to me.
they
He
benched
got
him.
Nigga
benched. Yeah,
He
come.
got benched.
Well, I know, but he got replaced for Matt Ryan. Now Matt
Yeah.
Ryan is now being placed for Sam Ellinger. He's from Texas, and
It was
I
yeah.
was
funny. The thing that caught me too is that they were very um distinct in saying that we are not benching him because of injury because he has a grade 2 shoulder separation, and they said that's not the reason we benching him. So
yeah.
then
Man,
they
they
just
always come up
bench
with
for the
some
rest of the
with some
year.
excuse. They always come up with some excuse or logic to make to try to make the quarterback sound bad when everybody can see with their own eyes. He
No,
just ain't
no.
playing well.
What I'm saying is
What?
they said that that was not the reason. The injury had nothing to do with the benching. Like he was
No,
going to get benched regardless.
no. But what he's saying is, it's not just Matt. It's a whole lot going on wrong over there, and it's not just Matt. And so you throwing Matt under the bus to save your job
Oh,
is
you
an issue.
no, you need to throw him under the bus. Matt Ryan, Matt, come on, Tanisha. Go
Dude,
back to
I'm
the Super
saying
Bowl.
there
Matt
is
Ryan ain't did
more
nothing,
wrong. There is
but he
more
was not
wrong.
the he. I don't think he was the right guy to bring in. If you thought he was going
Well,
to solve your problems, you could have went another year with Carson Wentz.
I mean,
I would
I
take
think I
Carson Wentz over Matt Ryan any day at this
I
no,
would
time.
have brought
I would
Philip
I
Rivers
wouldn't
back.
no, I wouldn't have I didn't have an issue with them taking Matt Ryan over Carson Wentz because Matt Ryan to me had been way more productive than what Wentz was doing in the past. So I can understand them saying we're moving on from Wentz. Wentz is
Wait a
not our
minute.
guy.
Since
Matt Ryan,
when was Matt Ryan productive?
what you mean?
Tell
I knew
me, like
since the Super
the
Bowl.
year,
That's a good
right?
question.
Since the Super Bowl, when was Matt Ryan productive?
She done muted
You must
herself.
have hit mute. But
Nope,
we
I did not. He has been a top. I mean, we're talking 17 quarterback. I mean, he ain't been horrible. He ain't the bottom of the pile. And Wentz hadn't been anywhere near the top of the pile.
well,
So
Wentz led him to the playoffs last year. I mean, he messed up in the playoffs, but Wentz was a better quarterback than Matt Ryan has
okay.
looked horrible since day one.
Well,
All I
he
can
He
say
needs
got
to.
is shout
lucky.
out.
The problem, no. The problem with that is Matt Ryan is not mobile at all. They are benching him because they need a mobile quarterback. Matt Ryan had got lead boots when he out there on the field, and
And
that's
he
what's going on.
and
You're
he
gonna
had him
see
in
a.
Atlanta.
All right,
Hey, shout out to Matt Ryan because this is the most anybody talked about Matt Ryan all week.
Right.
So
All
that's
right.
right,
good.
We gonna get off
right
of
on.
Matt.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Bucks and the Panthers.
Well,
13-point favorite and they lost. I mean, they couldn't even score a touch. They scored only a field goal. Something's wrong. And look, to Todd Bowles' credit, he says that they're in a dark place. Now, what that dark place is could be Tom Brady, could be his whole divorce thing, could be the fact that a couple weeks ago he ventured off to New York for Bob Kraft's wedding and didn't fly up with the team. I mean, they got a lot of issues up there right now that they really need to get squared away. Because I know one thing, I ain't put my money on them for a while.
They need well, for one, he needs to retire. I don't think I can say it. They talking
it's
about if Gronk
mental.
comes out of retirement, that could ain't nothing
That ain't
saving
that
that
yeah,
team.
ain't
Yeah, and
nothing.
Gronk,
Yeah.
why would I go to a team that's in shambles? They
Well,
just look a
first of all,
mess.
Gronk
But you
already
know who's gonna
said
take the blame? Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cabo's gonna take the hit for that.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with that. Anybody can see that Brady is not himself. I mean, he's just not himself. And if I'm tired, I'm not taking the blame for that because he's got a lot going on. I don't know if he's not. I mean, it should be like a walk in the park for Brady. But when you can't even get a touchdown in, dude, and you
And
got
it wasn't just him.
Evans, Godwin, come on,
But
man.
did you
But
see
This
some
but
of the ones
but
he threw
but
to
but
Evans?
but then
They
but
was
then I
hitting
was
him
gonna
in that
say,
Evans was
hands.
yeah, I was
dropping the
gonna say, so
balls. He
yeah,
was
that,
dropping.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
all that's not all that isn't Brady's fault. I mean, if you
true
hit,
that.
if you wide open and you drop a touchdown pass, that's something else.
Well, your defense got to stop somebody too.
Oh yes, Lord, they do.
So that defense, they got
Well, they
injuries,
fell
and
off a
everybody
cliff.
got injuries, but they just look. I don't know if
Hmm.
they're gonna recover. And they got,
They will.
if I'm not mistaken, I think the Bucks aren't they playing the Ravens?
Yeah, Thursday
They
night.
are Thursday night
Interesting,
football.
and we'll get to that when we do our predictions. But okay, let's talk about the Seahawks and the Chargers.
Seahawks look good, man. Geno Smith. It's I'll be honest. To me, the two teams that are most surprising that I'd say
Told y'all.
three, but the Giants, the Giants won them. But the two most surprising teams I think is Seattle because of expectations, and the New York Jets. So the fact that I actually had the Seahawks beating the Chargers in my parlay, I had them
Oh, good.
beaten. It's just
Hmm.
one of those things where I'm really not convinced that, and I said it before, and I said it with my chest out there. To me, to me, I don't see anything elite about Justin Herbert. I know everybody's putting him top five, top three. He just, especially watching that game against the Denver Broncos on that Monday night game. It was like, bro, you couldn't even score a touchdown. I mean, I
Get
get it that
him.
their defense might be good, but the fact that you're at home and you can't move the football, you can't. That's a problem. And so,
Let me
yeah,
tell you
to me,
something.
nothing was
Mm-mm.
nothing elite is Herbert to me.
No, I'm gonna go against that. I
Okay, you can
still
go
think
against it.
I think Herbert is still banged up
Oh
from
Then
yeah,
his
don't
small.
play.
absolutely.
Don't
I
play.
think he is
Now
still
I
banged.
get,
Well, I mean, true that, but
I
but
get.
but but this is a common theme with quarterbacks that are hurt. You know, you need to sit your butt down on the bench, but you're coming out there week after week after week playing half. You know,
Okay,
and
so
that's
no,
what's
no,
going on.
hold on.
Justin is
Okay,
giving what he
hold on.
can,
But
and he's
that,
still
Okay, no,
better than a
hold on.
lot.
Okay, hold on. But hold on. But to your point, then I could say the same thing about Russell Wilson. Then,
You sure
and
can.
you
You sure
could.
can. Now,
but
Nobody's
we
not
don't do
taking away.
excuses over
Russ is
here.
hurt.
Oh, okay,
No, it's not an
okay.
excuse. What I'm saying is, I agree with Tanisha in the fact that you're saying I don't take away him being an elite or a
elite,
top tier quarterback
he
because
is.
he is playing hurt. That boy has shown what he's capable of doing,
And
and he
something
could do
all
it.
of a
But I'm
sudden,
gonna tell you, if you got little riblets and they tore up, and they are
yeah,
tore up, he ain't been right since what, the Chiefs game.
he ain't been
Hey,
right since they
do you
cracked them
hey
ribs.
do you know what you do? You sit them down, you rest, you get healthy. Because
Right. I that part agree with you solely 100%. But to make a statement that
He's
make
not
because he's
elite.
not resting
no, no,
doesn't
no,
make him a good
no, no,
quarterback.
no,
He's
no,
not
no, no.
playing well
Hold
because
on,
he's injured.
hold on.
That's why.
I didn't say he wasn't playing well. I said there's nothing about him, in my opinion, that says that he's an elite quarterback. Because just because you throw a lot of passes, a lot of yards, whatever, um, because for me, you can be you can to be elite. There are some things that come with it. You should be able to win and take your team to the playoffs. He hasn't done that yet. Now you can say he's only been a
I
couple
agree.
in the league couple of years. Well, there have been quarterbacks who have been in the NFL fewer than he has. I remember somebody's nephew who's on there who took a team to the AFC Championship game in his first full year of starting in his second season. So I mean, there's
I mean, Burrows.
there are levels to this, and all I'm saying is to say somebody's elite just because he fits the criteria of being six
Well, let's take
five.
the word elite. Everybody get hung up. All right, we getting on semantics, right? So my
I'm
thing
just
is, okay,
that's
I think
Well,
he's
I'm
a
just
good
gonna say
quarterback. I
I'm
say
gonna
he's a
say
top
this.
he's
10.
not top five.
He's.
He's not
I
top
think it.
five.
I
I disagree. I disagree. I think he's top five. I
Okay,
think he's top five. I think
what
he's
makes him
top
top
five
five?
quarterback.
What
I
makes him
think he's
top
top
five?
when he's healthy. What he's been able to do with the ball, how he's put his team in a position.
and you got
Yeah,
to think.
everything hasn't gone right, but it wasn't because of him.
And
He's
has
done
what's his
everything
name played?
he's done
I
everything
can't
he
even think
needed
of
to
his
do.
name. What's his number one wide receiver? Has he played this year?
Keenan Allen.
I
Keenan
mean, you've
Allen.
been without him.
Keenan Allen has been banged up for the last few years. Matter of fact, he's been banged up since Herbert grabbed the ball. Keenan will give you a couple of games, then he's out a few games. He'll give you a
And
couple,
Whose fault is
he's
that?
giving me the Sammy
we're not
Watkins
talking.
effect
You
right about
missing the
now, and I
point.
love
It's
Sammy.
You
not.
are missing the point. We're not talking about fault. We're talking about players that are good. You're not gonna tell me that he ain't a good wide receiver. He's just injured. He's trying to play through the injuries, but he's a good wide receiver, and he doesn't have all of his core.
To
So,
your point, it would be no difference than saying Patrick sucked when he didn't have all his players in the Super Bowl. He looked like, he didn't look like Patrick. He's not looking like
but
Justin
that,
Herbert because he's hurt, and
but
I and I
he's
truly
an
believe
elite
that.
quarterback.
But
He was
he's
an
an
elite
elite quarterback.
quarterback when he played in the Super Bowl.
Did,
But like you said, maybe he shouldn't have played. He was hurt and he had
He,
players hurt, but he
that's right.
played.
You're
But did
hobbling
that make
around.
him not elite?
Exactly.
Nope. All right, let's move on. Chiefs
Absolutely.
49ers. I
Y'all
love
can
the
get that
game.
one. I did. I
Huh?
loved it. You know,
Yeah. I thought the
food
anytime.
Chiefs
food was
they
horrible.
they bounced back. I think the Chiefs they came back, they bounced back, top defense. I don't know what San Francisco was like a number one defense.
Number one.
And
I
Chiefs
think
ran,
it was the
he was hitting
loss.
everybody. He
Yeah.
was hitting everybody.
Well, the
It's the
Chiefs.
loss. It's the loss. It was the loss. When Patrick loses, he turned into Petty Pat, and and it brings something out of him. I mean, it's hard
Well,
to
it
beat him
shouldn't take a
twice.
loss for that to happen, but
Well, I said
I know.
when
But
he
what
loses.
I know, and I'm saying it shouldn't take a loss for Petty Pat to come out. I need Petty Pat to come out against the Buffalo Bills. You know,
Hey,
what I'm saying 2 weeks
you and your
ago.
parlicious wishes. You
Had
know what I'm
one had
saying?
no 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 one had nothing to, no one had nothing to do with the other. All I'm saying is because I said on our postgame show when it came to the Buffalo game that I thought in that game the Chiefs lost the game versus Buffalo winning the game. They had many
True. I
opportunities
agree.
to saying to close that game out and they didn't, and they let them back
No,
into the game and win it. So,
no
but
argument there.
as
None.
it relates to this, the Chiefs still has some questions that do need to be answered. One, Sky Moore, as much as people like him on
Ooh,
offense, that's two muff punts, especially in the literally in the same area at the 9 yard line against Indianapolis. He muffs the punt that leads to a touchdown. On the 9 yard line, San Francisco must have punt at the 9 yard line, leads to a touchdown with San Francisco. Now, the defense, well, not that time, the defense held and held them to a field. No, I take it back. No, the defense actually got a turnover
Yeah, they
on the
saved him.
situation, so they saved them. But the sheer fact that I had asked Spagnola about why would you have somebody out there who's never returned punts, even in college? You got other players that you could utilize, and because you
So
put them in
Spags,
the
you caught me there. Spags
McCole.
is the
well, no,
special
I'm sorry,
teams.
Dave Tope, Dave Tope.
Oh,
Thank you
okay.
for it, Dave
Uh-huh.
Tope. But I'm like, why would you put him out there? And his
I think.
answer wasn't something that I could really jive with.
I
But
mean, I get
I,
what
I I think.
if a
I
player
think.
makes a mistake, put him back out there, let him try it again.
yeah, that day.
But
But this is the
then
second time
I
he's
get
done
what
it.
you're saying. I'm like everybody else, was pretty much saying he should never field another punt again. But you
Well,
know,
and here's the problem. I think before McCole was back there fielding it, but he wasn't. He didn't have the role that he currently has now. And I think
Yeah,
that
we
they're
get that. Yeah,
trying to conserve his energy for what he needs to do, which is route running and catching balls. And they're like, hey, let's stick him back. Well,
but
now,
you did,
I
but,
mean, we
but you did
saw
see later on in the game he was returning
oh
punts.
yeah, because you had to. You didn't have
he
anybody
had to
else,
do
and you know
something.
that he could do it. And speaking of McCole Hardman, hats off to him. That dude had a
Great.
great
Absolutely,
game.
he
He
stepped
had a
him. He
great game,
stepped
and
his
that was a
game up, and
record
I'm
too
gonna give him that.
for what wide receivers. First
For
Two
time in the Super
rushing,
Bowl.
for two
First time
rushing
in the Super Bowl
touchdowns
era, two rushing and a
two
passing.
and a
rushing and one
receiving.
receiving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. But
So
before we go further, though, we also got to give a shout out to the defense because mind you now, as we mentioned, whatever took place in the locker room, they were leading by 14-13. They came out and exploded with 30 second half points, including a safety. So that defense got after
yeah,
had
had a couple of sacks too.
they had 5 sacks, a couple of turnovers as well. So no, so defense played lights out.
absolutely,
They look
absolutely.
good, but
And then
unfortunately, they ain't gonna have Frank.
Frank, yep, that's what I
Yeah,
was about to
so
say. We done lost Frank to two.
yeah, let's
That
let's
could have
let's
been one.
hit. It was quite a few significant every injury. So maybe significant is not the right word, but
Ooh,
for
yeah,
teams
But they
man.
specifically,
they are
every
they are
injury
piling
is
up.
important, but they're piling up. So Brees Hall, I mean, that's a rookie
Oh,
of the year candidate. That dude was balling out for the Jets, doing a lot for him. Hated to see him go down.
Yeah.
Um, Mike
Mike
Williams,
Williams, high ankle sprain, and he's out
yep.
for a couple of weeks. He's
DK
out for a few weeks.
Metcalf,
J.C. Jackson is out for the season.
Yep. Sure is.
Yeah, they
And
just
then
Yep.
Amon, oh God, Amon Ross St. Brown should have never came back. I think he came back a little bit too early because he caught. I think he caught when he caught one and went to the ground. He
that
wasn't right, so
Concussion.
they
concussion.
took him out of the game. Yeah, so I mean, good for
And
him. I'm glad that they did.
Njoku,
Um,
David Njoku too. He's
yep.
hurt. He has a high ankle sprain, just like Williams.
And it's interesting. Like there were Niner players that were dropping like flies in that game.
Every
That
time
were
you turned
getting.
around.
And your
Yeah.
Giants, Evan Neal, sprained
Yep.
MCL.
Yep.
So there's no
And
timeline on his
I know he's
recovery,
not
but
on there because they're not putting him on the report, but we know that Saquon is playing with a
sure.
bad shoulder.
Still
Matt
should.
Breeder's been stepping in, but we still need Saquon on the field.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And
that show they got hurt back in London, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yep,
because
yeah,
he
yep,
went out
he
and came
hurt,
back
sure
hurt
in.
did.
against the
And
Packers.
he was
Yeah,
leaning. He was leaning that whole game. And Ryan
yeah.
Tannehill is hurt too. He's in a boot.
Tanner,
He's in a
yep.
walking boot.
Tannehill's hurt. You got Ezekiel Elliott with the knee. They say he didn't practice today. And the
Mm.
other thing that hurts us from the Giants, not just Saquon, Daniel Bellinger's been playing well, and
Hmm.
I
Ooh,
thought that dude that took his eye out because they
dude, I'm
rushed
gonna
him
tell
to
you.
a hospital, but he was back with the team before they left. But I think he had to have the surgery on his eye.
No, he had to have surgery, and Michael Boone too, with the Broncos.
So a
He's hurt.
lot of injuries. The one game that we didn't talk about from last week, I'll just throw it out there. I was happy to see Tua back on the field. I did not. I got a little nervous when he ran and he went head first, but they interviewed him after. He said it's just some of those things are instinct.
Instinct. Yep.
Yep, some of them
Damn
just
right.
instinct. But I mean, seeing him on there, he was getting rid of the ball quick. He looked good. But I was like, when he took off, I was like, oh God, please, Then they showed his parents up in the booth, and I know they were
Probably like
probably thinking
this.
the same thing, like, oh, his dad was standing
I,
up,
I
but
think everybody was thinking the same thing. Like, Lord, please,
right, slide. I
Exactly.
was like, slide, and he was gonna get that first down. So,
and they told him,
um,
and I think he said that they told him, not to like go shoulder first on anything. Like,
oh yeah, they did. He said that they told him. He said we gotta go back to the drawing board and talk about it. You ain't gotta talk about it. They done told you, don't do it no more.
just don't do it.
Yeah,
Like, just don't do it. So,
yep. All right, so
Absolutely.
let's
Oops.
let's take a quick break, and we gonna come back with our week 8 predictions. We'll
Oh
be right
yeah,
back
and
after this.
hey
Welcome
guys,
back.
welcome back. All right, let's talk about these week 8 predictions. Let's go with the Ravens and the Bucks. You go ahead, Darren.
it's interesting because the Bucks are at home. They haven't been playing well. The Ravens haven't really been playing well either. Lamar, well, he threw for 120 yards against Cleveland, and they still somehow found a way to win. I got the Bucks winning this game. I'm not real confident, but it's hard for me to see Braden losing back-to-back games. Well, they've already lost.
Back
I
to
guess
back, back
I've
to
already
back,
lost
back to back.
back to back. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I think they'll right the ship, even on a short week. I think they'll win this game against Baltimore.
Hmm.
I'm going
It's
That's
with
gonna
good
be a
for
close
me.
one. I mean, no, but it's gonna be a close one. I think. Look, I think this is gonna be one of the few Thursday night games. I think the Arizona game that we saw against, I forgot which team they played that they won with the pick sixes. Was it no New Orleans? That game. I think it'll be a good game like that. I don't think it'll be as high scoring, but I do think it'll be one that'll keep our attentions.
Okay.
I wanted to go with the Ravens, but it's really a toss up for me. I mean, I know
Uh,
Lamar needs this game. Both teams need this game. I think people are a little bit down on Lamar right now. I know that does something to a competitor like Lamar. Um, you know what I mean? He's got Andrews, he's got Bateman, and then the young guy. I don't know. I feel like Brady and them might lose this, but I can't call it. I really
See,
can't.
and I'm gonna toss this over to Linda because it's her turn to speak when it comes to this. But when Tanisha says that people are kind of down on Lamar, is it more so that for someone who's betting on themselves, it doesn't seem like when the chips on the line, I haven't seen as many rushing touchdowns or him really running out running with the football as much. And I'm not saying he has to do it to try to, to try to prove anything, but to at least put your team in a position to win where you have to take that hit. You can run out of bounds and slide, but I haven't really even seen him when they get down to the goal line. He's trying to pass versus like run the ball to the end zone.
That's called a
Yeah,
Usually.
business decision.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
well,
I
yeah,
see
but
things
that business decision, to me, that business decision in turn becomes a team win or loss, and then that becomes a
that
bigger,
hurts you.
yeah.
It hurts you. So when Lamar started the season off, he was doing things like he used to, and everybody's
Hmm.
like, okay, ching ching, 10 million there, ching
Yeah,
ching, 10 million there.
it's
So
gonna
he
be three
stopped
hundred
doing
million.
that. Now it could be a couple of things. I don't know if we all don't know. Maybe Lamar's not fully healthy. I don't know.
Could
I
be.
just don't see from what I've seen of Lamar and heard from him speaking and all that, he's not a guy that's going to let his foot off the pedal. So I know, Tanisha, you believe the exact opposite, that it's a business decision. I think Lamar's going to go out there. This is a contract year. So he's going to go out there. He's going to play and he wants to win. He wants
Well,
to win. So I don't think it's all about him. I think he wants to win. I just don't know what is not really clicking. But I'm going with the Ravens on Thursday
Well,
night.
well, well, I'm going to say this. It's not to say anything negative about Lamar. I think you know how much of a fan I am of Lamar. But I think that maybe some people have gotten in his ear and they're basically saying, you got to be healthy. Like you said, what's your best availability? And he has to be healthy. And whether he's going to be with the Ravens, somebody is going to pay Lamar.
Well,
Uh,
but the flip side is, if you're healthy and they're losing, that's not helping you at all because they don't have a problem tagging you. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying, and tag and paying you a set amount of money because they're not paying you long term. If they're paying a little guaranteed money, if that's what you want to go for, fine. But if you think that you're gonna get the long term contract, again, for you to get the long term contract, they want you to win too. Because I mean, we saw what happened to Baker Mayfield. He was in the
Mhm.
same class, number one, and now he's gonna play himself out of the league next year.
Did you not see what happened when we went tag crazy over there in Washington with Minnesota Kirk Cousins? Keep tagging him if you want to. You're still going to end up paying, and he ain't gonna mind getting tagged because look at the difference at the top three salaries now. Back when Kirk Cousins was playing,
Well, the
you when
thing
you
is, if
tag him,
he
you
if he gets tagged next year's his salary is only 29 million. It's not now the second it might be 29 or 34, but the second year they tag him it'll be up to like 49. That's a different deal.
exactly. That's the
But
different
I
one.
mean, but here's the thing. There's not too many teams that even if he was a free agent that will bring him in because of his skill set, and you have to change the whole offense over to him. And I'm not sure how many teams would
You
really want
said,
to do that.
wait a
What
minute.
do
You
you
said
mean?
there's not too many teams that would bring them in.
Again, if
Why do you think that?
That's
No,
what
I'm,
I'm
I'm
trying to
just
figure out.
because
curious.
I'm trying to tell because I just said because you would. I mean, first of all, you have to have the personnel, and then because right now, since he's been there, even when he won MVP, how many number one wide receivers have wanted to go play with him?
Oh, they don't
We
have.
don't know. It's like, how
We
many
don't.
could they
No, no, no,
sign?
no, no, no. I'm saying
We
like
don't
no,
know.
no. What I'm saying is, AJ Brown was available. I mean, they didn't trade for AJ. AJ Brown was available. Devontae Adams was available. Tyreek Hill was available. So what I'm saying is that number one receivers are not running to go play with Lamar Jackson
Why
because
would they? Because they know they ain't paying Lamar. So
no,
what make
it's
you think
not
they're gonna pay
Linda.
them?
It's not
And they,
that. It's because his skill set is a run dummy. He likes to run with the foot. He doesn't throw the ball as much as he likes to run with it. And so and people
that's the
have
way
always
Harbaugh's. That's the way they have it. Beard.
that's the way
Lamar
they
can
had it
throw
set
the
up for
ball.
him. I know he
Lamar
can
can
throw
throw the
the
ball.
Linda. I mean Tanisha. I know he can throw the football. He won a Heisman. But what I'm saying is he does not throw the ball at the level of all these other quarterbacks that are making the premium money. The reason why they don't want to pay him is because of his skill set. He has a different skill set than
So
Patrick
you
Mahomes and
say,
everybody else.
His
so
stats say
you
that.
take
His
Pat
stats
out of
say
the take Pat out. We ain't talking about
his
Pat.
stat.
Let me ask you a question. Let me just
It can
ask you
be
a
Pat. It
question.
can be
Let
Deshaun
me ask you a
Watson.
question. So you think that Tyreek Hill didn't consider the Ravens because he said that Tua is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson?
That part.
Well, he said he's
Exactly.
better. He said he's more accurate than Patrick. I think that's
I
different.
ain't anybody talking about Patrick Mahomes. I'm asking
Well,
about
no, no,
Lamar and
no.
Tua.
Yeah, but the quote that you meant, but the quote that you said was referring to Patrick,
I did
not
not
No,
refer
Lamar.
to Patrick one
no, he
time. You
said
did.
Lamar.
I said
The
Lamar.
but you asked about the comment that Tyreek said about Tua being accurate. That was only in relation to Patrick.
I
Not
didn't bring that up at all. I
he
said
just brought up the comment.
my question was this. I said, do you think that Tyreek Hill would choose Tua over Lamar Jackson? I ain't say
Yes,
nothing about
yes,
Patrick
yes, I
Mahomes.
do. Yes, I do.
Why? And you think, and then the follow up to that was, are you saying that Tua is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson?
No, I think Tua is a more accurate quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I do. Now, Tanisha, you shaking your head. Tua was the most accurate quarterback in college football history. Now, and he had weapons on offense that he had in Alabama with Waddle and Devine. So he knows what to do with that type of speed. And we've seen when he's healthy down there in Miami, he's getting the ball to Tyreek, he's getting the ball to Waddle, he's getting the ball around. So he knows what to do with that type of. What I'm saying is, let's just say for the sake of discussion, if Lamar was a free agent, people talked about it in the off season, put him in Miami. Well, in Miami, yes, he'll probably be able to get the ball out and stuff like that. But most of the time, what does he do? He normally, up until now, because of the business decision, as Tanisha said, would run with the football. There's a reason why Hollywood Brown left to go to another team. Sammy Watkins and them, yeah, they're there, but I mean, but nobody
Sammy
else wants
Watkins
them.
wasn't even healthy. I forgot he was in the
Yeah, see, that's
Ravens. So Sammy wasn't
Sammy
even
Wat-
healthy.
no. Sammy's
He's in Green Bay
in Green Bay, but
and ain't
Demarcus
catching up. But
Robinson,
I forgot he was
Robinson
healthy.
is there.
But
but
So
what was Demarcus
but
Robinson
no.
doing when he was in Kansas City?
I mean, he was catching
I mean,
passes from Mahomes.
I've seen him
But
throw.
you act like receivers are running away from Lamar. What is
There
the
there
what are
are no
what
receivers
no
running
excuse
to Lamar.
listen, what are the Ravens willing to do to get those receivers?
That's the
Because
question.
what we do know about athletes are, if you pay them enough money, they are packing up and leaving the following day. So
Who was
what
the
are they
highest
doing
paid
to
player?
get
Who's the
what are
highest
they
paid player
doing to
on that
get
team?
them?
I couldn't tell you.
What, a
That's my
lineman?
point. No, but that's what I'm saying. So you would think because you're not paying
The
Lamar,
coach
because
Harbaugh,
you funny.
Exactly. They
Harbaugh,
signed
he the
him to an
highest paid.
extension.
He
But
the highest paid.
that ain't got nothing to do with
Huh? That shit.
you-
That's all
But
I
my
could think
that
of is
ain't got nothing
Harbaugh.
to do. Ain't got nothing to do with the salary cap. But
I
no,
know, but I'm
but what
just saying
I know, I
that's
know,
the highest
but
paid.
no, no. But what I'm saying is that Lamar's still on his rookie deal. So
Right.
so 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 there's money out there that they could have offered top flight players to come and play with them.
Okay, let
But
me
but
they,
ask you
why didn't they?
another. Let me ask you another quick scenario since we got hung in this.
yeah,
Kyler Murray. Would you put Kyler Murray in Arizona? I
he's
mean,
already in
excuse me,
Arizona.
would you put Lamar in Arizona and think he could flourish with them weapons that he got? With his size, his weapons, those weapons, because
I
Kyler
think he.
can't even
I think
see
he.
Zach Ertz coming across the middle. Come on, let's keep it
I,
real. He got to throw off his tippy toes.
I can't
Let's keep
with
it
you.
real.
I can't.
I'm
No,
keeping it 100.
I mean, yeah,
So you
yeah.
saying
No,
there's
we keep it
teams that
100.
wouldn't take him? I know there's teams that got people locked in, but if
I
they
I'm
didn't
get.
trying to
have
figure
people
out which
locked
No,
one
no,
in,
no.
wouldn't take him.
No.
I would pay him before I paid Kyler Murray.
I get that, but
And
understand
and
something.
two.
Okay, listen, understand something. And just like that Dr. Pepper commercial, I ain't trying to fansplain or mansplain or anything. Only thing, only thing I'm saying is that if you take on Lamar, you have to change your whole offense and your whole psyche or whatever on how you play. You have to change it to his skill set. You can't. You
You
can't.
saying it like he can't throw the ball. You
That's
keep saying
It's
it
crazy.
like
hold
he
on, hold
can't throw
hold
the
on, hold
ball.
on. He won an
It's
MVP.
heartbreaking.
Hold on, he won an MVP running the football as well as throwing. What I'm saying is, if you okay, let's do this. You pluck Lamar from Baltimore and put him in Kansas City. Does is the team still 5-2?
You talking about Kansas City, whole
No,
different team,
no,
whole
no, no,
different
no, no,
scheme,
no, 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 no,
a
no.
whole
It's the
different
same. No,
scheme.
no. That's my whole point. That's my whole point.
If you
So if Lamar's in
no,
Kansas City, if Lamar's in Kansas City, are you adjusting the scheme to fit his skill set, or does
we're
he have
talking
to
about teams. We're
look?
talking about teams that
That, that,
can use
that,
quarterbacks. Let's stop talking about teams that have solid quarterbacks.
okay,
Let's stop talking about Patrick
You
Mahomes.
plug
We
him.
ain't talking about the
okay,
Bills. We ain't
okay,
talking,
okay, fine.
I could plug
Pluck
him
him.
into the
Hold on.
New York. Daniel
Okay,
You
Jones
can
pluck
is
him.
plug.
playing great. I could
Okay,
plug him into the New York Giants and he would do
pluck
great.
Lamar from Baltimore. Put him up in Seattle.
He's having a good game. He's having a good year.
All right.
Why wouldn't he?
Or we could drop them into Lockett like it ain't no problem.
What you
Okay.
Lamar
talking
throw the
about? And Metcalf
ball
as
with his
well.
wrist, but this a whole we done got off track for about
Yeah.
10 minutes.
And it don't even matter,
Let's
because
say
the
the
important thing is that what
It's
we
two
learned from
one
here.
Bucks versus the Ravens.
okay. Go ahead. What you say?
Okay.
What's the
All
important
right.
thing?
No, the important thing is I think that the um uh, the jury is out on Lamar. I mean, we're having a conversation where I truly think that Lamar can throw the ball. He's a well-rounded quarterback who is in a system right now that's not allowing him to flourish. You think that he's,
That
I
system
guess,
won him an
past.
MVP. What are you talking about?
Listen,
He
he
had more
has
weapons.
no receivers. He didn't. I mean, he has some. He has a little. I think Rashad Bateman is decent to me. It probably above decent. He's got a young guy now that's pretty good. I can't think of his name on the top of my head. But come on, he don't have AJ Brown. He don't have Devontae Adams. He don't have
Did
those.
not
What would
just,
he do with
that's what
those?
I
What
said
would he?
about 10
So
minutes
let me
ago.
ask you. Let me ask you
No,
this
but you're
one
acting
question.
like everything has a
Can I,
shutdown because Lamar runs. It's a whole lot of quarterbacks that run.
let me ask you one. Let me ask you one
Jalen runs.
question, and then right. He runs a lot, and then we can move on. When he won the MVP, did he have running backs?
Yeah, he had Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram had a decent year. He had a good running back. Who's his
Okay.
running back now?
And Mark Ingram still on the
Gus
team?
Edwards.
No, he's not.
Gus
Okay.
Edwards.
See, thank you. I rest my case.
And Gus Edwards came up because J.K. Dobbins is out.
So he ain't had no consistency on his team either in the last couple of years. But
We don't do
that's something
excuses.
else. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Well, moving on from that one, let's go to the Steelers and the Eagles.
Eagles.
I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that.
Nah, I got to go with the Eagles. I just can't see him. The Steelers just.
But this could be a trap game, though. I mean, we saw, Pickens. The Steelers. Hey, the Steelers did
Pickett.
upset
I think.
Pickett.
I think that
but
Philly defense
they did
going.
ups. Yeah, but I'm saying, but they did upset Tampa Bay. Nobody saw them coming, and the Steelers.
Look at my face.
Hey, look, that was the same face I was making before they upset him and tore my parlay, knocking off Tampa Bay. But
Oh Lord.
I'm still going with the Eagles. Hold on, don't you be talking about oh Lord, we
Yeah,
don't
I'm
let you
going with the
finish.
Eagles. Listen, I mean Pickens, like you said, it could be a trap game. I don't believe it. Pickens, that defense gonna have him. He gonna be like Sam Darnold was a couple of years ago. What do you
Plus, they're
say?
coming out for bye too, so I think they'll.
Yeah, they rested.
Y'all talking about Pickett or Pickens?
Pickett, what
Whoever,
Pickett? Kenny
Pickett.
Pickett.
whatever the boy's name is,
Kenny
Yeah.
he
Pickett.
going
Okay.
down.
Yeah,
All right.
I think that Philly because it's gonna be. What did Sam Darnold say a couple of years ago when he played? He
I
said,
see ghosts. I know what you're trying to say. I see ghosts. I'm seeing ghosts out here. But that was
That was against the
Billy-
Patriots. I thought
he
it
was
was.
saying,
that was
yeah, it was the Patriots. That was against the Patriots.
That was Belichick over there snickering in the mic.
That's funny, man. That
He
was
saw
heard it over the
15.
loudspeaker.
He saw 15
Yeah.
defensive players.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That boy
the
never
way
been
that
the same
Philly
since,
defense.
and he ain't never been the same.
No,
Yeah.
that Philly
Nah.
defense, that might have been that mono talking, but that Philly defense has just been looking really good. So yeah, hats off to them. All right, Cardinals in Minnesota.
Woo.
Cardinals.
So with Hopkins, it's just you're talking about. Ooh, it just I
He
put the
looked good
Cardinals.
last week.
I put the Cardinals down too. As much as I love Justin Jefferson, Allen Thied, that's not enough. That's not enough.
Huh? They
I don't
got
think
they
it's
got
gonna be.
they got
I don't think
Dalvin
it's gonna be.
Cook. What are you talking about? What you
I
mean?
don't think it's gonna be enough.
Where's this
It's
game
just
being
something
played
about.
at?
It's just something about DeAndre Hopkins.
Where's it being played at?
I'm
It's
gonna
just
tell
something
you.
about when he in the game. It's a different. It's different. Everybody gonna eat. Ertz, everybody gonna get some because they're gonna be locked up on him, and it's gonna open so much. And then you got what's the running back now? Benjamin, and I think is Connor back yet?
No,
Is
he
Connor
was sitting
back?
out. He sat last week. I don't know if he's playing this week or not. It's at US Bank Stadium. That's Minnesota.
That's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Okay, take that. You had that same attitude when I told you the Jets was gonna be Green Bay. I don't know what planet you come from.
This is a
I
game
don't know
that's
so-and-so.
tricky for me because I think I watched the Cardinals game last week. I don't know what Kyler Murray was upset about when he went to the sideline and he
Ooh,
was
whoa.
cussing
He
and
was
D Hop had to pull him away.
He just told him to
he was
calm
giving Cliff the
down.
business.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was.
giving
I mean, he
Cliff
was
the business.
passionate. He
Calm
was
the
pumped
F
up.
down.
I think he's pumped up. No, I'm not saying anything negative about what he said. He
No,
was
no, no,
really
no.
pumped
No,
up,
I'm saying
and I
that's what he
think
said. That's what he
I
said.
think that he's pumped up now. He's got D Hop back. I don't know. Is Green even playing?
Green,
I think so,
AJ
yeah.
Green. But they got Robbie Anderson now.
True.
He
Yeah,
got
but
he
Got a
got
week of
Robbie
practice
Anderson
with
now
him.
too. So
But
and
AJ Green,
I love Robbie Anderson. I think Robbie Anderson I think he was so underutilized in Carolina. I seen why he was having a fit. I know why he was having a fit over there because he want to play. He want to win.
Yeah,
That
Anybody
dude
playing
was
I'm
with
kind
Baker
of
seems to regress.
yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the
he. Re-
Cardinals for the upset. I think that Minnesota's due for an upset. All right, let's go Dolphins versus Detroit.
Miami.
Dolphins.
Yeah, I threw Detroit in there because it's Detroit. I think
Who
any week, I don't count them out. I'm not picking them, but I don't count them out. You know what I'm saying? They could just
they in it every
really,
they usually in it
yeah.
every
I mean,
week
last
when
week
they're
was the
healthy.
worst that I seen them play. They've been putting up a lot of points. Last week, I think, was the worst. That defense was all over them. The
They're not
Dolphins do
healthy
have a
either.
good defense, and they're missing players. So Swift was out. Saint Brown went back out.
It was
When they
concussed.
started off the game, they didn't start off bad, and then it just went downhill as they were losing players. So
I think a
I
couple
don't
of weeks
know.
ago was their worst game because they were scoreless against the Patriots. So I'd say that was probably the worst
Um,
game of the
I
so
can
season
I
tell
so
you
far.
all they're 1 year away. They'll be in the playoffs next year.
hmm.
I'm
You
gonna
just smoke.
predict it right
I don't
now.
know. I don't know
They're gonna
what
be
you
in the playoff.
smoking over there,
They'll be in the
but you need to
playoffs
pass
next
some
year.
over here. Whatever you
They
smoking,
they
pass
got
it
a
this
they
way.
got a
Even though their
solid
record doesn't show it, you're
team.
yeah, their record doesn't show it, but they do look better than they did and they was in so many games last year. Just like
What?
right there down to the last minute or so. So
And
it's a team I like.
don't they have Jameson, the dude from Alabama, Williams, and Williamson? Isn't he sitting over there getting healthy? Next year they'll be in the playoffs.
I love
Next
their
year they'll be in the
coach.
playoffs.
I love his attitude. I love their coach. All right, let's go 49ers and Rams.
49ers.
Oh, that's gonna be a tough one, man. I hope that's the. I don't even know.
49ers.
I hope that's a game of the week for Fox. I'm.
49ers. Have I mentioned the 49ers?
I
That
know.
game, you know what? That game is in LA. I'm gonna go with the 49ers in the upset.
Okay.
49ers.
I don't
Rams are
even
coming
call
off
it
a
an
bye.
upset. I just got to see what the hell Matthew Stafford is doing.
Yeah, Rams are
What's the
coming off a bye. I think I think now that you've gotten a chance to see a little bit of a Christian, you kind of get a feel of how they'll probably try to utilize both Christian and Debo together in that backfield or on the offensive side of football. But now I will say this: it will depend on how many 49er defenders, are healthy for
Or
that game
healthy.
because
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because the Rams are coming off of a bye. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna switch my pick. I'm gonna go with the Rams because they're coming off a bye. They have to win. They're at home now. San Francisco gonna have a lot of fans at that game though because we saw
They
what happened.
always
We saw what
do.
happened last year where they had to. That gotta be really interesting. How you gonna win the Super Bowl and had to go on a silent count at home? That's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
insane.
That's
Mm-hmm.
terrible. That's terrible. Who you got to? You said 49ers?
Oh, yeah, didn't I? Yes, I
Okay.
did.
I think you
Who you
said it
Yes.
got?
4 times.
Who you got, Linda?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Rams. I think bye week at home, it's a must win for them. But
Smart woman.
the 49ers have it's tricky because the 49ers have lost 2 in a row too.
So
So
that's my
it's kind
upset.
of
That's
tricky.
my
So
upset of the week. That's my
okay.
upset of the week.
You
All
sure
right.
it's not Seahawks over the Giants as the upset of the week?
Well,
No,
it would
I
be
don't
if
even think
Metcalf
it's
was
an
still
up.
there.
I think we're gonna if the
Mm,
Seahawks win, everybody will call it upset because of the Giants' record. But the Seahawks look really good. I think it's gonna be a tough game for the Giants on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with my Giants just because they've been able to pull
no.
games out. But I'm going with the Giants. But I think it'll be a good game. Gino's been playing lights out,
Yeah, but
and the
I just
reason
don't
I
know
give the
who's.
Giants the edge because Metcalf ain't gonna be there,
That's what I was going to say. I just don't know who's going to step up
and that's
to the
a
level
key
of
player.
Metcalf because
Yeah.
Metcalf is just something you have to put somebody on him. So I just think that I'm giving the Giants the edge on that one just because Metcalf's out, and I might backpedal later and have to do a quick little live stream if if I see something, I go back and look at the practice squad and look at some of the guys and see if they got some potential on there. But right now, I just don't see how they're going to be able to do it because of Saquon.
I guess we'll make it a sweep when it comes to the Giants. I'm not confident, but I do know that they're dealing with injuries. I know, obviously, with DK Metcalf, but along with Tyler Lockett and Penny Hart, I know so they're struggling.
Oh,
Uh,
they got Walker.
the
Walker from Penny.
yeah. Now, now
Walker's
the
been playing. He been
now the question is going to be is how loud would that crowd be, and whether or not the Giants can take their crowd out the game because they are in first place. So it's so these are division leaders facing off against each other. So I think overall I think the winners are going to be the fans because I think this is going to be a really good game.
and I
Absolutely, I
think
agree with that.
yeah, and I think the Giant, started off. I, I don't want to say we playing with house money. I think they really started believing that coach believe him and all that
Hmm.
other stuff. I think the Giants, and you know me, I'm a Giants fan, so I was like, 6-1, this and that, and so it's almost like you know is it for real? So this will be a real test. Last week it was a test, and it was like we got right there and stopped them right at the line. Go
I
ahead,
will
Darren.
say it is going to be important for the Giants because you know you need to stay as close behind Philly and along the same ways with Dallas, stay ahead of Dallas or stay with Dallas. I think Dallas beat them head to head, so they need to win this game so they don't fall too far back in the division.
Well, I'm gonna say this. You know what? I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna go with Seattle because I just remembered the performance that Marquise Goodwin had last week, and that's a name that that guy can play. That's a vet. That's a veteran guy. He can play. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Seattle.
Yeah, and I don't know who we're getting back this week. I think, like I said, Bellinger's going to be out with that eye, so that I just don't see him coming back from there. We're also missing a defensive Evan Neal, missing
Evan
him.
Neal.
So we're a little banged up. Saquon if he's going to run it or whatever. But if we play smart, I give us if we play like we've been playing smart, well coached team. I'm going with the Giants. All
Hmm.
right, our last one, Green Bay and the Bills.
Well, we got one more after this, but
Hmm.
uh,
That's
Green Bay
funny.
and Buffalo.
Mhm.
This is Aaron Rodgers is a underdog of double digits for the first time in his career. Shows how bad
You
the
better get used
Packers
to
have
it.
fallen off. But I got Buffalo in this game. Yeah, I would love nothing more for Green Bay to win this game because that would at least by record kind of put Buffalo and Kansas City, even though they'd be a half a game, but you put them at 5-2 or whatever. So I would like for Green Bay to win, but if I
After
had a
that,
bet, if I had to bet money on it, though, it'd be
after that
Buffalo.
nonsense that Rogers said, it's like, man, that was unnecessary. I'm going with Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'll leave all alone. I'm going with Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo, but here's my thing. Either that little rant that he had is meant to light a fire up under his guys by threatening that some of them need to be benched if they can't, whatever.
Yeah, he
Uh,
been doing that. He been doing this for the last couple of weeks, ever since they,
I know,
Oh
even
but
even
yeah,
it
the
but
run
was
game.
it
it's
it
now
was
you
it
go in
was
public, you sitting on Pat McAfee having a cocktail talking about it. It's just disrespectful. There's a lot of players,
Facts.
thank
former
you.
players that have come out and said, really, that stuff you
Absolutely.
say in the locker room, you say in private, you don't come out and bash your team because now you got players second guessing themselves. So
Yeah,
I
he,
mean,
he
that's a part of our closing in our hot topics. So he was one of those, Rogers. I don't know if you want to just we ain't got to go into. Let's do a quick pick real for the Monday night game. Bengals and Cleveland. Who y'all got?
Bengals.
Bengals.
Bengals. Okay. So we can go back to Rogers as he was one of our hot topics. I just think that was just disrespectful to the team to do that. And I'm like, if I'm his teammates, I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna go out there because they gotta play because it's their livelihood too. So they gotta show up. But they don't have Randall Cobb. Aaron Rodgers don't trust anybody. He thinks they all suck and he's the king. So we'll see what he can do. If he can throw the ball and catch it, then
Yeah,
but
you gotta
I'm
be
sure he
careful when
going.
you're out there talking that bad about your team too. You mess around and them receivers start yelling at their neck and their back, put you out there at the practice squad, and you mess around and get hurt. These are professional athletes.
Facts.
These are people who go to work every day and work hard. And Aaron hasn't been perfect this year either. Now, don't get me wrong, it's some drops, plenty of drops or whatever. And he's working with some young guys, but that's why you don't let Devontae Adams walk out of your doggone locker room.
But even with him going, you got to spend time with those guys. So if they're doing something wrong, you as a professional, two-time MVP, all of that, go out there and work with them, spend some time with them. You should spend some time with them in the off season. You don't do any of that. So you're not going above and beyond to do anything like that. Let's
Yeah, that's true.
New
That's
England. We
true.
saw they made that switch the other night.
Woo.
But they
Switch
went
back.
say
back
who's
to Mac
starting.
Jones. No,
They did. They
yeah, they
announced
went
it.
back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Mac
Switch
Jones will be
back.
starting. We already talked about the Bucks. We got Frank Clark suspended for 2 games over that incident during the summer. We'll see what impact that is on the Chiefs. And
Fresh
then
off a good game.
yeah,
Fresh off a
fresh
really
off
good
a real
game.
good game. And then of course the horrible news with Brittney Griner. She's denied her appeal, and they're going to be moving her to one of those colonies in 9 years. We'll see what the United States and the State Department can come up with.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why there hasn't been much movement, why it's been kind of quiet on that front. Because they had to go through the whole shenanigans of her pleading guilty and stuff like that, and that's when we thought the negotiations were going to heat up, kick in.
They've been
Especially,
negotiating.
I know,
Yeah,
but the fact
but
that we haven't got a resolution yet
yeah,
is what.
Russia isn't
Russia
even
ain't budging on
Russia's
that.
they're not
I think,
responding.
and here's one of the things I think people don't understand: everything that the State Department does is not public knowledge,
No, I get
right?
that.
Just like that other
I'm
guy
thinking
that
about
all of a
I'm thinking
sudden
most
he
about the
came home.
timetable.
Oh
It's
yeah, but
hard. I mean, that other guy, we brought him home in what, February, right after Brittney, or February or March. He had been over there for 2 years. Nobody was talking about him. You got a Marine that's over there.
right
He's
now
been over there for 2 years with her.
and I
Nobody's talking about him. They've been negotiating for him, a Marine, a U.S. Marine. They have been negotiating for him. So you don't hear about it. The families hear more about, and the families don't even know everything. They give them updates, but a lot of this stuff is classified operations that they're doing. It's not public knowledge. We have gotten so spoiled because we're getting our news and what people are saying, commentary from the news. So if the news ain't talking about it, it's like nothing is happening.
Well,
There's a
well,
lot going on behind the scenes.
yeah, but the biggest issue is that because she's a public figure, that's what brings the attention. Because, like you said, a lot of stuff is classified that we wouldn't even know about the other people that they're trying to get
Which is
released
sad.
if it wasn't for
Which is sad.
fact
well,
that
I
Brittany
knew about
Griner
them
is locked.
from where I work at,
And
and I'm
we
telling
right.
you, if and who's to say that they're not trying to get him home before they're trying to get Brittney? And I'm not talking about us. I'm saying, who's to say that Russia's saying we're willing to bring him and trying to make the U.S. make a decision, and U.S. is trying to get a 2-for-1 deal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
So
we don't
nobody
really
knows.
know.
We all
We really don't
speculate.
know.
Nobody knows what's going on at them embassies.
But my
Nobody
prayers
knows
are
what's going on
with
at the
her
State Department. Yeah. So
because I know that her mental health is from what her wife is saying is deteriorating a bit, and
Yep,
it's not
so
like they're about to send her to a better place. And
nope.
on that
And just
note,
like, yep, I just we pray for her, pray for all that are over there, and not just in Russia. Got people in other places too. So
Yeah.
on that note, what you got, Tanisha?
well, as
If
always, if we're talking about it, you need to hear about it, and
and
and don't forget,
always
always.
be kind and be blessed. And please, people, vote, vote, vote. The polls are
Oh yeah,
open, early voting, all of that. Get out there and vote, because your vote that's your voice. That's your voice. If
yeah.
you want change, you gotta make change. So until next time, peace.
Vote blue.
Thank you for tuning in to Two Gems and a Mic. Be sure to subscribe and follow. Until next time, remember, be kind, be blessed. Peace.